Welcome back to this episode of Restoration with Vic. For today's project, we got these cooked Knicks Air Jordan 3s that need a lot of work. We got yellowing, creasing, grime and dirt, separation. Pretty much everything is wrong with this shoe. I'm gonna show you guys how to properly fix this shoe. So without further ado, let's get it started. For before and after purposes, we're gonna be focusing on the left shoe. First things first, we're gonna take out our shoelace and insole. For the shoelace, it's gonna go straight in the trash because I already know it's not original. Now, one thing I like to do with used shoes, I like to grab my compressor and air gun and blow out any debris inside the shoe. Inside this one, there's a lot of it. Same thing with the insole. Insides look a lot better. I hate cleaning a shoe that's covered in trash on the inside no matter what it is. Now we're on to the shoe tree. For this shoe, we are working with a size 12.5, so we are going to be using an extra large shoe tree. Let's adjust it to size. Shoe trees in place, that's going to help us get rid of the creasing on the toe box and give us a better shape overall throughout the shoe. Now we're on to our solution. Let's squirt 2 squirts inside our bowl of water. On the uppers, there really isn't any delicate materials, so I'm gonna skip using the soft bristle brush and go directly to using the medium bristle brush. The reason why I'm gonna use that brush, because there's a lot of dirt tucked away inside the tumbled leather. The only way to get it out is using the medium brush. So far so good, you guys. We're getting a lot of the dirt and grime off the white leather, but there is a slight red-orange tint to it. I've seen this before in old running track shoes. It's really hard to get these stains off. Hopefully we can take care of it. Right now we're gonna move on to using our soft bristle brush for the insides. All right, last brush we gotta use is our stiff bristle brush to take care of these soles. All done with the pre-treatment on the upper. Let's put that to the side real quick and grab our insole. For this, we're gonna use our medium bristle brush to give it a good clean. Insole's all clean. Now for the shoe, on the outside, it looks really clean, but there's still a lot of dirt trapped on the inside. The way I know this is, when I squeeze the sock liner, all these nasty brown suds come out. Yeah, that's super disgusting, you guys. You don't want dirt like that trapped inside of your shoes. The only way to fully flush that out is by putting them in the washing machine with our Sneaker Laundry bag. All right, let's put these in the washing machine with our detergent pods to complete this cleaning. We're back. We got the shoe out of the washing machine. It is fully dried and clean. All that grime and dirt that was inside the shoe is fully flushed out. It looks and feels a lot better. Now we're on to removing the oxidation from the sole. One thing I want to point out about this shoe is I feel like the original owner let these sit in a really hot garage for a long time. The way I know that's because the sole has no traction, it's hardened, it isn't very flexible anymore. This is a common issue with OGs. The thing about this shoe is it's not that old, so it shouldn't have aged that quickly. That's how I know this shoe was stored improperly. So the next step we're gonna do is remove the yellowing from the soles using Rejuvenate and Store Revive. But with the condition of this rubber, there's a good chance it's not gonna come back to brand new white. Got the Sole Revive applied to one side of the shoe. After it sits in the Vick 2000 for a few hours, we'll flip it to the other side. We're back. After putting the shoe in the Vick 2000 for 3 hours, we got some great results. This is the before. You guys ready for the after? Boom. Back to almost brand new white. Same thing with this gray rubber. It had this nasty yellow tint. Now it's back to its original tone. We're gonna go ahead and put them back in the Vick 2000 for another few hours to finish up this side now. Got the shoe out of the indoor setup. Thanks to the Vick 2000 and our rejuvenated Store Revive, we got the rubber back to its original tone. Now we gotta do a lot of prep work on the uppers and midsoles. Throughout the entire white leather, there's a lot of scuffs and scratches that gotta get repainted. Before we do any of that, we gotta prep it. There's also a lot of red stains tucked inside the creasing of the toe box. Same thing with the tongue on the tumble leather. A lot of that stuff did not come out during the cleaning process. Hopefully we can get that out with some acetone and cotton balls. We got the white leather fully prepped. Some of those stains did come off the white leather, but red dirt is really tricky. If you let it sit on an upper and don't clean it right away, it tends to stain the material. I'm not too worried about it because I am going to repaint those areas anyway. Right now I'm still working on the back tab. The back tab was heavily stained, scuffed up, and dirty. Right now I'm doing a lot of scrubbing using acetone and cotton balls. We are starting to get those stains off. It is also starting to whiten up. It's not going to come out perfect, but it's going to look a lot better than what it was. All done using acetone on the uppers and the back tabs, it looks a lot better now. We're gonna jump over to the midsoles now. For this area, we're gonna be using alcohol and cotton balls to get some of the paint cracking off the white. We'll also be using sandpaper, 400 grit and 600 grit to get the midsole nice and smooth before the paint job. Midsoles are good to go, got them nice and smooth. We'll come back to the repaint later. Right now, while we got the sandpaper out, we're gonna focus on the white leather. There is some deep scratches here and there. We gotta get them nice and smooth before the paint job. Prep work is all done on the uppers and midsoles. We're gonna jump over to the insides and grab our lint shaver, clean up all the old lint all around the sock liner. While we're at it, we're gonna put our freshly clean insole back in. Now we're onto the toe box. The toe box still has some heavy creasing, so for this step, we're gonna be using the iron method. First, we're gonna grab some towels, stuff it inside the shoe, then we're gonna place our wet rag over the toe box and simply iron it out very carefully. Toe box and the overall shape of this shoe looks a lot better already. Now we're gonna jump over to the back area. There's some heavy separation on this back area of the midsole, one on each side. First, before we can apply new glue, we gotta go in with an X-Acto knife and remove all the old glue carefully. It's kind of a tricky spot, but we're gonna do our best. Got all the old glue off the upper. Now we gotta do the same thing for the midsole. For this, we're gonna tape off the elephant print and use acetone and cotton balls. Got the separation all prepped. We'll come back to the reglue later. Right now our next focus is the back tab. We're gonna try using some rejuvenated Store Revive and our Vick 2000 to get this yellowing off. There's a good chance nothing's gonna happen, but we're gonna try it anyway. To the Vick 2000. Got the shoe out of the Vick 2000. We let them sit in there for a good 2 days. I put them in there Friday, pulled them out this Monday morning, and as you can see, we got some awesome results. Originally, these were super yellow. They're not by any means perfect, but they do look a lot better. Now we're gonna jump back to this midsole separation. We're gonna fix it using some Bark Super Stick, but first, we're gonna tape off the upper. Glue's been applied, we let it cure for a good 20 minutes. Now we're gonna heat it up and bond it together. Glue job is complete, now we're on to some painting. But first we gotta do some taping. We're gonna tape off everything but this middle section of the white leather. Got the shoe all taped up. Now let's lay down our white paint with our airbrush. Uppers look great. We covered up all the scratches and scuffs all around the white leather. Now we're gonna jump back to the midsoles. Before we lay down our white paint, we're gonna do some taping and then lay down the paint using the paintbrush method this time. White paint job of the midsole is complete. We're gonna let it dry before we go in and tape it off to lay down the orange. While we wait, we're gonna move on to the back tab. For the back tab, on the Jumpman and Air, it needs to be touched up with some blue paint. So for this, we'll be using some Angelus True Blue paint and a small angular brush. Back tab is complete, now we're back to the midsole. Before we start painting, there's one thing I gotta take care of. In this area, when I was removing the old glue using the X-Acto knife, I created a small hole, a rip you can say, on the midsole. It's not that bad, but it's bothering me. So we're gonna be using some leather filler. We're gonna fill it in, sand it to make it nice and perfect before the paint job. Got the midsole all touched up, now we're back to the paint. We're gonna tape off the bottom part and the upper so we can lay down our orange. Alright guys, we're all taped up. Now, let's lay down our orange paint. Alright everybody, that is going to bring us to an end on this full restoration on these Jordan 3 Knicks. This was a full restoration, you guys. A lot of work went into these, but as you can see, the difference is clear as day. This shoe was cooked. As you can see on the befores, it has a banana shape to it. On the afters, it took a lot more work than just a shoe tree. We had to put them in the washing machine, use the shoe tree, and of course, use the iron method to eventually get it back to its original shape. But let's talk about exactly what we did from the beginning. We gave the shoe a proper deep clean using Rejuvenated products. We gave it a deep clean inside and out. If you guys remember, when I was cleaning the insides, there was so much brown suds coming out of these holes that we had to put them in the washing machine. Once we got them in the washing machine, we took them out, got all that stuff fully flushed out, and got a clean base to work with. Then we had to move on to removing a lot of yellowing from the soles. As you can see on the before and after, big difference, you guys. We had to use some Soul Revive and the Vick 2000 to get it back to its original color. One thing that I wasn't expecting that was gonna whiten up was the back tabs. The after results on this tab aren't perfect, but it looks a lot better than the befores, you guys. For the rest of the shoe, like I mentioned, we had to reshape the entire toe box. The toe box on this one was cooked. Like I said, it took a lot of work to get it back to its original shape. The rubber on the sole was almost rock solid. That's what made reshaping this shoe a challenge. On the back area of the shoe, there was also a lot of separation going on. We had to go in, remove the old glue before we could go in and fix that. After that, we moved on to fixing the separation on the back area of the midsole. There was big separation on both sides of the midsole. We went in, we removed all the old gunk and filled it in with some fresh new glue. Then for the uppers, we had a lot of painting to do, but before we laid down the paint, we had to fix the scuffs and scratches. We got it nice and smooth using the sandpaper, and then we laid down our fresh white coat of paint to cover up all those scratches and scuffs all around the upper. Then we finished off the painting process by giving this midsole a fresh repaint and wrapping it up by repainting the Jumpman and the Air. And lastly, we gave it some authentic Jordan 3 laces, you guys. This was a full restoration. A lot of work went into them, but I'm super pleased on how they turned out. You can find all the products at rejuvenator.com. Use my promo code down below to save some money. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys next Monday. See you guys.